Silicon Valley, the technological mecca of the world. There's no place on Earth that can compare to the amount of technological breakthroughs that have been achieved in this place in the last 2 decades. Herein lies the root of the problem that Evgeny Morozov, author of To Save Everything, Click Here, is trying to address.
There's a new player in town, and this player is Silicon Valley. It's geeks, engineers, technologists, innovators, who, because our world became so mediated through technology, suddenly acquired power. They are the new elite.
According to Morozov, Silicon Valley is on a ridiculous quest to solve the world's problems. The problem is boiled down into what Morozov calls Techno-solutionism. Here is how he describes it. Recasting all complex social situations either as neat problems with definite, computable solutions or as transparent and self-evident processes that can easily be optimized if only the right algorithms are in place. This quest is likely to have unexpected consequences that could eventually cause more damage than the problems they seek to address. I call the ideology that legitimizes and sanctions such aspirations solutionism. To see techno-solutionism at work, one should look no further than to the turnstiles of the New York City subway system. The turnstiles are designed in such a way as to make it nearly impossible for riders to circumvent them. With some critics calling this system draconian, the intention is to eliminate the possibility of people boarding the train without having first paid. This is an example of a concept that Morozov calls situational crime prevention. Essentially, the design forces riders to pay before boarding, supposedly making it impossible to cheat the system. Though this may seem like an intuitive idea, in effect, it has resulted in a number of unexpected consequences. First of all, it isn't that effective. Over the years, riders have found a very simple way to get around this design. For example, by simply using the emergency exit gates. The gates were installed for people in wheelchairs or with strollers that otherwise couldn't fit through the turnstiles. It was seen, and rightfully so, as a necessary accommodation in an otherwise restrictive system. It was designed with an alarm so that station managers and officers could be aware of when it was opened, therefore deterring people from going through it illegally. In theory, it seemed like a viable system. In application, however, the alarm was completely ignored. As we have all seen countless times before, riders commonly hold this door open and allow others to walk through. Morozov calls this ideology the automation of human virtue. By using the same preventional ideology, local governments could mandate that every new car be installed with a breathalyzer. Then, before anyone wants to start their vehicle, they need to blow into it to validate their sobriety. Though without doubt, this measure would drastically reduce rates of drunk driving, it's a pretty stark restriction on our right to moral choice. Morozov encourages readers to consider this aspect of technological solutionism, weighing how we feel about public efficiency at the expense of moral restriction.
So within our talk here, we have 6 different technologies that are merged into one singular platform. Everything that we do here is underpinned with the ideology of preventing crime.
Perhaps the most evident demonstration of techno-solutionism, albeit also controversial, is the practice of predictive policing. Morozov critiques that this modern policing practice is reactionary in nature and neglectful of the root problem of crime. Predictive policing involves employing big sets of data in order to forecast where and when future crime will occur. At the forefront of this concept is the tech company Predpol, where it analyzes years of previously published statistics about crime, such as burglary, automobile theft, and murder, while also employing outside information from social media networks. It then breaks the patrol map into 500 square foot zones, calculates the historical distribution of actual crimes across them, and then tells officers which zones to police more vigorously. Using this software, police departments more easily prevent crime by locating it before it happens, and furthermore, they do so while increasing department efficiency and saving money. The Camden Police Department has also installed surveillance cameras that cover 2/3 of the entire city's streets. They are monitored 24/7 and allow police to respond to crime without even needing a call to 911. With the installation of mass security cameras, however, many different issues have arisen.
You gotta move.
I live right there. I got the right to stand right here, but all I know is it's a drug corner. All right, but I'm not committing any crimes. It's just like ain't no freedom. You know,
The foremost debate is between privacy and security. The question that comes to mind is, are people okay with being constantly monitored by the police if statistics show it will reduce crime? Though certainly some people are, as demonstrated by a majority of the population in the United Kingdom, residents in Camden have mostly felt otherwise. Beyond privacy, predictive policing and situational crime prevention surface issues about their ideology. Here is how Morozov puts it. SCP-inspired approaches do not preoccupy themselves with questions of morality. SCP treats crime as something normal and naturally occurring rather than deviant, assuming that it is bound to occur whenever barriers and controls are missing. Long story short, predictive policing is yet another reactionary technology. Instead of addressing the cultural, sociological, and political factors that cause crime in the first place, new policing technologies just try to make it disappear. In March of 2009, Travis Kalanick founded what would become one of the most controversial companies that exists today. With the help of the internet, Uber simply streamlined the process of hailing a taxi. Instead of hopelessly waiting for a taxi to come along, the Uber app allows its users to conveniently request for a vehicle from any location. In the event of an emergency, or if there's difficulty in locating a passenger, both the driver and the user have access to each other's contact information. Since drivers use their own vehicles, they are usually well maintained and properly insured. This marks yet another perceived benefit for customers. Passengers are not the only ones that benefit from the convenience that Uber provides. Uber is very attractive for drivers because they can make their own schedule and in some sense be their own boss. What is troubling, however, is Uber's ability to manipulate pricing whenever it sees fit. By utilizing surge pricing in times of increased local demand, peak hours, and other times when there are very few drivers nearby, the company can erratically and without limit price gouge their customers.
Nobody takes jobs away from us. We need to speak to Mayor and tell her to shut down this illegitimate business. Or maybe we could have the police shut him down.
Conversely drives their standard rates down to the floor. This can have a seriously negative impact on the regular wage rates of its drivers. Uber's business model is to monopolize, then eventually monetize the taxi industry. Though most people view Uber as a positive and intuitive convenience, they fail to see through the model of the business. As of now, the company hardly makes a profit. Endlessly funded by Silicon Valley's army of venture capitalists, the idea is to become the first choice for national transportation in the future. At that point, Uber will have the leverage to capitalize on the market by charging whatever they want. People may enjoy the affordability now, but in 2 years, they may look back and wonder what happened. One of the more surprising areas where we see techno-solutionism at work is in the beautiful, sprawling forests of the Sierra Nevada. World-renowned for its pristine national parks, the region is facing a severe crisis of dehabitation and animal endangerment. A vast number of species in the region are now nearing extinction, which has left many of the area's ecosystems nearly exhausted. That said, as you may not be surprised to hear, now there is a supposed technological answer. Private Silicon Valley companies, such as California's Conservation Metrics, are employing a wide range of technologies in order to repopulate these devastated ecosystems. Their solutionistic approaches include tagging animals with specialized GPS tracking collars, conducting hidden surveillance from cameras mounted into trees, and even capturing animals in order to do genetic alterations in California labs. In short, wildlife managers, now sitting in distant, air-conditioned rooms, can observe their monitors, crunch numbers in their screens, and supposedly save the world. In his article for the New York Times, writer Daniel Duane gives a further outline of the process, saying, "Mostly hidden from view, this infrastructure is proliferating and improving so quickly, thanks to advances in digital technology, that wildlife managers are seizing more and more of nature's relevant dials. Undeniably in the service of good, this technological revolution in the human relationship to wildlife is accelerating the project of bringing the physical world under our control. In saying that the intention of these projects are well-meaning, Dwayne is correct. Many people care deeply about our world's animals and want to do what they can to help keep them around. That said, there is also a dangerous oversight here in this technological approach. For the most part, devastated ecosystems are the consequence of irresponsible human behavior. Issues such as overhunting, excessive commercial development, and pollution are the usual suspects putting our animals at risk. Instead of addressing these larger societal issues, companies like Conservation Metrics are simply reacting and dodging the root cause of the problem. What we see here is a textbook example of techno-solutionism. The process considers the destruction of our natural habitat inevitable, but then applies a micro-solution to a macro-sized problem. Technology cannot fix dehabitation. In order to seriously and thoughtfully address the issue, we must tackle the core issues head-on, not consider them retroactively. Hopefully, this example has shed light into the larger ideas that drive techno-solutionism. In closing, we will leave you with two final quotations from Morozov's book. In the future, people will spend less time trying to get technology to work because it will be seamless. It will just be there. If we get this right, I believe we can fix all the world's problems. Eric Schmidt. The overriding question, what might we build tomorrow, blinds us to questions of our ongoing responsibilities for what we built yesterday. Paul Dorish and Scott Mainwaring.
He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. And I've seen their mothers, and I will know other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. If you are young, then you must be living. Take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. If you are young, then you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. But the men stood fast with their guns on their shoulders, not knowing what to do with the contradicting orders. The general said he would do his own duty, but he extended no further.